Unit Story Number 127, Fated Clash, Episode 2. Ardart's one-handed sword was characterized by a unified attack and defense style, in which it was constantly switched between the wielder's right and left arms as they approached an enemy. "I won't let you pass, not as I, the heated blade, stand here." The Flame Dragon Boy roared at his enemy as he took his stance. Unfortunately, this was but a bluff. Late at night, illuminated by the light from behind him, a fire lit at the hospital's main gate. Ardart's face, body, and the sword he was clutching were all smeared with dried blood and soot. "Ardart, wait for me! I'll be there in a—" "Shut up! Don't worry about me. Just carry the last of the sick away." "Don't come here!" Ardart yelled back at the voice that called out to him from behind. "Oh, okay." He heard the reply of the angel, who still wanted to say something without turning back to look at him. "Heh, was that a bit too harsh? But I'm pretty busy right here. Besides, that's a job only you can do. I knew that when I took this on. It's too late to worry about it now." Before Ardart's eyes was a beast glaring at him with its burning fighting spirit, literally erupting from its entire body. Behind it, wounded beasts, high beasts under the command of this roaring flame beast, Karalior, lay on the ground, groaning in pain. The roaring flame beast walked back and forth on the snow in a threatening manner, but it was not yet attacking. The wind had abruptly gotten stronger, with the cloudy sky turning into a blizzard. It was cold. Even though they had descended from the campsite, the icy cold of the mountains was still here. This is bad. High beasts were no mere wild beasts. They were creatures with a high level of intelligence and the ability to think rationally. The beasts had bitten into this narrow path, eliminating their numerical advantage, and were defeated one by this Flame Dragon Boy. But instead of making any rash moves, the roaring flame beast cautiously waited for a chance at victory. "I see, so you are capable after all." Ardart's face distorted, a wry smile. If it was to be drawn out into a battle of endurance, he would be at a disadvantage. In terms of numbers, and although he hated to admit, in terms of fighting power, the beasts were clearly superior. It was a pack versus an individual. "But there's something I don't get. Why are you guys suddenly attacking a human village? Aren't there territories and rules that you each should be protecting, huh?" The roaring flame beast's Karalior stopped in its tracks. As expected, it seemed to understand what he was saying, common language. But this hesitation lasted only a moment, and the roaring flame beast's eyes flared with hostility again. The beast lowered its body, sign of attack. "I see. Can't be helped then. Come at me!" Ardart held his left hand in front of him as his one-handed sword was drawn behind him in his right hand, a stance that hid his resolution. It leapt up at a speed that left no time to blink. In the next moment, the crouching beast was in front of Ardart. Its fangs sunk into his left forearm, the burning smell hitting his nose. The roaring flame beast breathed flames. An inexpressibly intense pain ran through Ardart's body. But, gotcha! Ardart paid no attention to the pain or the heat, having been aiming for this exact moment. With little stamina remaining, and an opponent cunning enough to try to wear him down, his only chance of victory would be to cut through the flesh and bones, aiming for a draw. He thrusted his sword into the now unguarded belly of the roaring flame beast. It cut through the thick hide and swerved to the side. It wasn't deep enough? Having plunged his sword into the roaring flame beast that was biting him, the Flame Dragon Boy became entangled as they both rolled and slid down, falling over the edge of a cliff with no handrails or fencing, into a deep valley, disappearing soundlessly into the darkness of the night. "Ardart!" screamed the Angel Feather apprentice Soel. It was a cry of lament and despair, as he was certain of the death of his dragon friend, Heated Blade Ardart, whom he had only recently come to know. Vectoa Bazaar was a settlement that could be called a home away from home for climbers who had challenged the peaks of the Dragonian mountain range, which began at D3. It was only about the size of a large village, but it attracted visitors from all over the world regardless of the season. Not only hikers, but also tourists who came to enjoy the beautiful scenery. The bustling population also brought with it active economic activity. Vectoa had modern facilities and services that were incomparable to the surrounding towns and villages. These included a regular flying dragon air transport due to strong winds and bad weather. Planes and airships could only approach lower-lying airfields. A mountain railway that stretched to the foot of the mountain. Incidentally, the Dragon Empire of the Chakrabarthi Divine Era mainly used diesel locomotive. Hotels, restaurants, shops, daily life infrastructure. There were unusually relaxed browsing restrictions considering this was a military nation, and there were even internet cafes with high-speed environments for the general public, international banks, and hospitals. 1 hour earlier, in front of the snowy gates of the Vectoa Bazaar Hospital. How was it? Did they believe you? Ardart asked the angel boy Soel, who emerged from within. The flame dragon was sitting relaxedly on a rock that jutted out from the snow with his sword on his shoulder. Yeah, my dad's name came in handy. The director was an old acquaintance of his, so they had seen a picture of me before. Ardart commented on it being lucky. Soel had a complicated expression on his face as he looked at the staff that had helped prove his identity. He had, after all, taken it without permission and run away from home. There are sick who cannot be moved, so someone will have to stay behind to guard them. There are only humans inside. But it can't be helped. The horde of raging beasts will soon be close by. All we can do now is pray to Nirvana that the damage will be limited to the exterior walls and such, and let them be. Rewinding a further 2 hours earlier, in a rock cave halfway up the D3 peak, Ardart and Soel came across a pack of high beasts passing by before them. Fortunately, they were not noticed. Having been training in this area, it was Ardart who pointed out that the pack's frenzied state was abnormal, while Soel, having seen the whole mountain area from the sky before his attack on the summit, realized that the pack was heading in the direction of the human settlement. As such, the two of them moved silently through the sky, so to reach Vectoa Bazaar first and alert the village. Their only worry was that Ardart had to hold back his sneezes against the cold of the high altitude. That said, they're pretty unlucky. Actually, why is the hospital at the entrance of such an unprotected mountain trail? It's the first place that would be affected by the beasts rushing in, asked Ardart. Whether they are injured or sick, the more urgent cases occur near the mountain. This is more convenient being there, and, with the exception of the rampaging beasts, no one would want to attack a hospital, said Soel. Although he was an apprentice, he was still one of Keter's relief angels. He had a good understanding of the local medical situation. Well, we finished the warning the village, and the main gates are closed. We'll hide and wait for the storm to pass. It's the sensible thing to do, so let's quickly get out of here. I don't know what goes through your head, but I'm sure even you wouldn't want to jump in front of that raging pack of mountain-high beasts. Yeah, well... Ardart, about that... Huh? The flame dragon boy turned around, brushing back his hair. I think I can carry a patient while they're lying down. Like you did with me earlier? Yeah, but more gently, smiled Soel while holding up a finger. Ardart, on the other hand, frowned. But what do we do? The pack is almost here. If the whole hospital gets crushed, we won't have time to transport the sick. It'd be reckless to go without backup. I think the doctors can escape on their own, so as long as we only have enough time to carry the other 3 patients... I've got a bad feeling about this. Soel's eyes widened as he was interrupted. Just give it to me straight, Angel Boy. You need me to buy you time. Well, but... My master says, the stronger the person, the greater the excellence imposed upon them. Exceed this excellence and surpass all others. Kindness without power is weakness. At least, that's what I'm told. Ardart was already swinging around his sword, checking its weight. His expression was free of hesitation. You're the one with the wings and the healing power, and I'm the only one with the usable swords that the villagers have all shut themselves in. So it looks like tonight's hero has been decided. Let's do this, said Ardart as he laughed fearlessly. That laugh stayed in Soel's mind for much longer. The lamentations of Vectoa Bazaar waited until the mountain blizzard weakened. After a night's search, the bodies of the roaring flame beast and the flame dragon were found in the thick snow at the bottom of the valley, and were laid out on a bed at the center of the village square. The villagers of Ektoa Bazaar would never forget the achievements of the Flame Dragon and Angel Boys who saved their lives, the hospital, and even the pack of high beasts that had fallen into a mysterious frenzy. With the disappearance of their leader, the rampaging force and hostility that was to lay waste to the village vanished, with the beasts retreating to their mountains. It was me. It's my fault. I made Ardart do something so reckless, wept the Angel Soel. Do not blame yourself. You and him were brave. Us adults thought of nothing but running away. The villagers all praised Soel and prayed for the dragon boy who lay before them. Is he still breathing? Doctors, please treat him. Please grant our hero the blessing of divinity. However, the village doctors, they were some of the Dragon Empire's top doctors, here to treat those who became seriously ill and injured while lost in the mountains, quietly shook their heads. They were forced to admit that they could no longer rekindle his fading light of life. If only I had more power. Soel approached his friend's body and exerted his strength in an attempt to remove the fangs of the roaring flame beast that were still biting into his left arm to no avail. My healing powers! A warm light emanated from the staff held by the Angel Feather's apprentice. With a slight exhale of flames, the jaws moved and the high beast's fangs came off. The people around Soel, even the doctors, exclaimed in amazement and joy as they watched his healing hands. But that was all there was to it. The staff's light weakened, and Soel, who had been putting all his strength into it, collapsed on top of his friend. This heirloom angel staff could not exert its full power. Unless its wielder was adequately prepped in mind, technique, and body. Sorry, Ardart. It's my fault, because I ran away from home, trying to find the messenger of salvation, even though I don't even know if he exists or not. My hopes were too high. The comforting voices from those around him did not reach Soel as he cried, gazing to the darkness that had closed around his heart. It was in that moment. At first, it was just a small voice. Soel could not help but mutter like a child as he lay there face down, for it felt as if it was a voice he had heard somewhere before in his life when he was little. Was it in the wind that blew by his ears when he was learning to fly, or was it in a dream when he had fallen asleep listening to a fairy tale? Boy! Who is it that is calling out to me? Soel got up from his friend's body as it grew colder and looked around. The surrounding villagers of Ektoa Bazaar were surprised to see the angel boy, who had been stricken with grief, suddenly look up to the sky and begin searching for something. I have heard many cries of grief, and today, even here. Yeah, everyone is grieving. For what reason? Because a hero's life is about to be lost. Because it is beyond my powers. Sickness, death, and old age. They are all inevitable, regardless of whether you are a human, an angel, or a dragon. But it's too early for him, and he was just following in the footsteps of his swordmaster, about to do his best. And I got him involved in this. It was all because I asked him to. So, he is an important person to you. The solemn voice now seemed to take on a touch of emotion. Yeah, that's right. I only just met him, but he was my friend. No, I still want to be friends with him. Lamenting child, angel boy, is that your wish? Yes, of course. As long as he's alive, nothing else matters. Then, you would be fine with the beast beside him perishing. Soel looked as if he had been stabbed in the heart. What would your parents do when they say that the hero should live and the beast driven mad by something should die? Why did this voice know of his origin? I don't know, but when I think about it, for some reason my heart hurts. Life is equal, from the mystery at its beginning to the journey at its end, as well as the value of being alive on this planet at this moment. I was wrong. As an angel feather apprentice, I'm ashamed of myself. Healing is a great and strong power. It can save life and health, as well as kill it. The stronger the person, the greater the excellence imposed upon them. Exceed this excellence and surpass all others. Are those your words? No. Apparently, Ardart's master said it. It ends with kindness without power is weakness. It came to mind just now. I see. Let us do this then. If you can answer my next question, I shall grant one of your wishes. A wish? Anything is fine? That is not what I said. My proposal is that I shall grant one. Understood. Thank you. The villagers had been watching with bated breath as Soel conversed with the unseen person. What would happen next? Now then, what is required of one in medicine and healing? What is your answer? The voice was not as stern as the difficult problem it had posed, but the dignified tone still had a weight to it. Soel took a deep breath, then answered decisively. Responsibility. To bear the vita of those alleviated of sickness and old age. To stand by that vita. I want to become a doctor who can heal all those who are hurt and sick. To save those in front of me right now from the brink of death. That is my wish. Very well, but that wish shall be granted someday. From here on is my job. Huh? Granted someday? Soel was surprised, and until that moment he had completely forgotten his initial doubts about who the voice was, and realized that he had been believing, relying on, and clinging to this mysterious dialogue and what its outcome would be. Before Soel could utter a word, "Ah, it's so bright!" Voices arose from behind Soel, but Soel did not turn around, for the angel boy himself was also in the torrent of light. The light was strong, yet gentle, painting the landscape white. During that time, Soel was in a state of eternal peace and harmony, a comfort that resembled the slumber of an infant. His body became light, and he felt as if he was softly floating. And then it abruptly ended. Ah, that was a good rest. Huh? What's the matter, Soel? What you crying for? Before Soel, who merely remained blinking, the flame dragon got up with a yawn. Stretching around, his body which had been frozen and at the brink of death had no traces of wounds on it. Cheers of joy arose from the stunned villagers. Ah, this bastard! You took quite the bite out of me, said Ardart as he stroked the head of the beast next to him affectionately. The high beast, roaring flame beast, Karalior, rose up before him and licked the left arm of the flame dragon that had been bitten. Of course, they no longer had sword wounds either. Ah, wait, crybaby. Ardart spread his hands in front of his friend's face to stop the angel from breaking down into tears. Oi, oi, why are all our wounds healed? Weren't we gonna die? Ardart and the roaring flame beast, Karalior, looked to each other in confusion. Karalior spat flames as its response. Soel once again turned to the heavens. You were the one who did this, right? Correct. Please, show yourself. I am busy. That will have to wait for another time. Farewell. Please wait. If I am to guess your name now, will you show yourself? The answer was silence. Thinking that the owner of the voice may have already left, Soel shouted to the sky. You're the one known as the Messenger of Salvation. Another title of yours would be the Wings of Miracles. It was something that the adults would not tell me. It was in one of the old documents, deep inside the bookshelves of the great Vanguard library in the old capital. Yes, I remember now. You would always continue your journey of healing in various nations while hiding like that. Soel sensed a response. Someone was listening, waiting for his answer. Raziel, you are the former angel of the angel feather, Raziel. And then he appeared. Above their heads, beneath the clear blue sky. Here, the wings of miracles descend. They shall heal every wound.